The Tobago Performing Arts Company recently stepped into the role of official partner and representative of Tobago's creative and performing arts sector at the inaugural Caribbean Film Festival held earlier this month. The company's CEO, Mr. Prima, served as a featured panelist at the festival's flagship event and joined us this morning to give us some insight on the developing things out of this endeavor. Good morning, Jared, and welcome.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Every time that we speak, it's because big things are happening, and this time around, TPAC wouldn't have just been featured in terms of partnership, but also explored some hot topics on this one. Before we go into the specifics of things, give a little context as to what TPAC does and how their role in this particular event was, paid, if you will.
All right, so TPAC is Tobago's engine, I would say, creative engine for the performing arts, for capacity development, for, of course, adding Caribbean and creative content to our tourism thrust. So, of course, in that light, we have the four pillars of drama, dance, music, and film. And film is the one that we dove into at the Caribbean Film Festival.
Perfect. Now, in terms of your presence, let's speak first on your impact on that panel. The conversation surrounded the Caribbean cinema itself, and you would have spoken specifically with a Tobago perspective. Tell us some of the derivatives from that conversation.
Right. So, of course, I must big up Asha Lovelace, the festival director, because she has always been a partner with TPAC. She also understands that Trinidad and Tobago, one country, but of course, unique in our approach to things, unique to our stories as well. So they couldn't have the Caribbean Film Festival happen in Trinidad and have a panel about Caribbean cinema and not ask for Tobagonian input. So I was very honored to have been asked to be there. And I mean, we brought the perspectives that needed to come. Tobago has long since been a major player in film.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about Swiss Family Robinson. We're talking about Fire Down Below. But as I said in my quote, Tobago has always been the visual landscape. Our stories have not yet been able to permeate and to reach the front. And there is where we, TPAC, are hoping to make such a change.
Now, part of making that change would be, of course, yes, to give the perspective of being more than just the visual. But I imagine some of the challenges and the necessities that are lacked were discussed as well. Can you share some of those?
Yes, certainly. So, and I said it in my quotes. I didn't even believe that they printed that quote where we have the stories, we lack the scaffolding. And that's kind of really what it is. Tobago still requires that infrastructure to get us to the next level. We want to standardize our production value. And we want to also bring advocacy and awareness to all creatives. So we're still kind of working in silos, right? But we need them to all understand everything you put out, especially in this age of film and digital media, everything now represents the digital landscape of Tobago. So we want to raise the bar. We want to ensure that everyone speaks the same visual and cinematic language. So at the very least, we have the tools. So whatever we share can stand and represent us well.
That scaffolding building is a process, but you have a massive and very capable team, other members of whom were also present in the event in different capacities. There were master workshops, there were a number of endeavors. So tell me some of the findings or the takeaways from those other involvements of TPAC.
Well, great. So, well, of course, again, Asha, big up yourself. An amazing festival. What we saw was a great hub that brought the creatives together. So we learned a lot about screenwriting, moving Caribbean literature, for example, to screen, something that I think should take a major focus in what TPAC's plans are, right? Apart from us writing original content, there is content that exists that speak to us, both in Trinidad and in Tobago, and we need to begin to translate these things visually now. You know, we even learned about AI and about the role that AI plays in the new age, and of course, the caution with which we must proceed. You know, and then I must, of course, put a plug for TPAC's upcoming festival of our own, Force Festival, So we went there to learn, was a fact-finding mission. How can we streamline our events? We had a really wonderful start to our first festival last year, and we were able to learn a few things from the Caribbean Film Festival. And of course, we have asked Asha to assist us in building out our product to make it even more, potent, palatable, and cross-sectional for everyone to enjoy.
I understand the cross-section of persons that you had access to was really valuable as well. From your description, I can imagine the energy being incredible, so that we will
It was
see some
fantastic.
developments. Yeah?
It was truly a fantastic experience. I just love that festival feel. And we were all at the IMAX, and you're going from third floor to fourth floor to 40X, and you're going to screenings. They had things for the kids. They had interactive sessions where you could really just kind of talk. One session became a movement. We went in there to talk about what are the processes to get film going. And the whole room turned into a movement of why we as Caribbean people need to come together, because separately we have small ecosystems that are, pitting along. Collectively, because we need the numbers, we need the collective content and the collective push. As a Caribbean region, we have to move together. So many things came out of a result of that. And I must quickly say, even interest for our recently shot Son of the Tide. People were very interested. So we are in a number of different conversations right now about that IP.
Well, some of the persons that are involved in those conversations have really big seats, if you will. I know Maxine Williams for Meta and Facebook would have been part of those conversations. Mark would have been there too. So will we see some partnerships coming out of those that you're willing to tell us about, or even more?
Well, you know me, I can't share everything. I always come to burst your bubble, and I'm sorry. But we are definitely looking in that direction. Let me say that much. I think people must understand the importance of collaboration, the importance of partnership, and of course, we're talking about film, the importance of product placement. So those are some of the conversations that we have begun, and we will continue. The one I'm willing to burst, because of course I have to put it in training, is that we did have a conversation with TTT. So we're looking forward to continuing that conversation as well.
And of course, that means viewers need to stay tuned to TTT to find out how it unfolds. But in terms of making sure that this is just the first of many to come in terms of the film festival itself, we know that TPAC continues to, as you put it, be the engine for Tobago. And we will see things coming out of both Trinidad and Tobago in a more collaborative effort, hopefully. Beyond these sorts of endeavors, tell me what is next that you're willing to share for TPAC itself.
Well, I will share the ones that are, I guess, national. All right. So, well, of course, we have our Heritage Festival coming up, and TPAC continues to partner with the Tobago Festivals Commission on the opening night product of the Tobago Heritage Festival. We also have our very amazing and wonderful camp, our Creative Calabash Camp for our kids. It was a blast 2 years running. We're going into our third year. We're going to make it a big splash. And, of course, I think it's been public now that TPAC has been asked to be the leading component for the Tobago contingent for CariFesta. So we do have that definitely coming up as well.
Lots on the table to deal with, but I am hoping that they build the scaffolding soon enough to make it easier for you to continue to enjoy the successes you have. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, and best of luck. We're really looking forward to what comes next.
Thank you, and you all have a wonderful day, and let's just be creative.
I like that. Let's be creative. Of course, always welcome to the now Jared Prima, the CEO of Tobago Performing Arts Company, giving us some updates and exciting things to look forward to, just like we have after these messages here on the Now. Stick around, guys.